Welcome once again to the Ben Smith Coaches Show here on the BCHS Bear Network. I'm your host, Gary Ownbey, being joined today by, of course, Coach Smith and also one of his wrestlers and one of his assistant coaches. And before we get into the conversation with those guys, coaches, bring us up to date on where we were from since the last program last week, what's happened since then, and also talk about the delay we have had in the state tournament.
We'll go through this quick. That way we can get to these guys.
Sure.
But we hosted the region tournament this past Friday night here at Bradley Central High School. And we had I felt like we had a great showing. We started off a little slow in the tournament, but then as the tournament progressed, I think we got the job done as far as what we needed to do. We had, instead of taking the top 4 this year because of COVID, we're only taking the top 2. We still ended up with 9 qualifiers. I'm really proud of, in a normal year, we would have had 14 qualifiers when there's only 14 weight classes. So we would have had everybody qualify like we traditionally, we're normally 12, 13, 14. You know, I mean, nothing was different this year except for the fact that the state said that we can only take the top 2. So we had 9 finalists. We had 2 champs, 7 runner-ups. Team-wise, we had the lead on Cleveland up until about the 5th or 6th match of the finals. And they clipped us there at the end. We just kind of ran out of bullets. We lost some key matchups earlier that would have maybe kept us in it. But I felt like we really rebounded well from a disappointing state duels like we talked about last week. But we set ourselves up nicely. So we have 9 male state qualifiers heading into this next week, and then our 2 girls that we've talked about before. But yeah, as far as the delay because of West and Middle Tennessee's icy conditions and snowstorms, the state has decided to allow us to deal with COVID and contact tracing another week and bump the state tournament back a week, and we're grateful for that. We're glad that we're going to be able to have that. But girls will be Thursday at the Chattanooga Trading Convention Center, and the guys will be Friday. So that's where we're at.
I'll be done in one day then, huh?
16-man bracket done in one day.
Girls Thursday, guys on Friday. Has the delay, does that cause you any issues or problems? Does it matter to you? I mean,
No, we're just, I really feel like we do a great job between Coach Blackman and Coach Anglin and then Coach Cordell. We do some things differently this time of year that I think really help us peak this time of year compared to some other teams. We've added 4 extra practices to that now. So what Coach Blackman and I are trying to figure out now is like how to maintain where we're at. You know, you're not going to get in any better shape between now and next week.
Right.
Like the training's done.
Just got to keep gaining weight, I guess.
Yeah, that's a huge. That's very wide. Like weight gain is a concern. And of course we've been out of competition. By the time we get on the mat next Friday, it'll almost be a 2-week window.
Oh yeah.
So your match timing is off. Your match speed is off. So Coach and I really have, not a quandary in front of us, but we want to make sure, because wrestling is very mental.
And everybody's faced with the same problem.
Everybody's faced with
Yeah.
And in my leadership class today, we talk about reframing negative situations or negative things and turning them into a positive thing. Like we talked with our guys yesterday about look, yeah, we're practicing a few more days longer, and yeah, we're trying to figure this out, and COVID and contact tracing and blah, 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 blah. But Middle and West Tennessee, they can't practice.
Right.
School's out, school's not in, they can't get to school. There's teams out there that they have weight issues too, but guess what? They're not practicing. They have timing issues too.
And they're home where they can eat.
They're home, yeah. So,
Whatever.
To reframe the situation, is it ideal? No. But there are some benefits to this that I think
Look for the positives.
would be more positive for us than it would for other people.
Tell us about this young man to your left there.
So this is Luke Belcher. Luke is in our leader circle. So pretty much he's a team captain. He's one of my. We had such strong leadership this year. It was kind of hard to nail down who my main guys were, but Luke's definitely a leader on the team. And I would say, if I had to guess, he was 15-2 going into the state duels. 17-2. So he's 21-2 with 19, 20 pins as a sophomore.
Record.
He's number 2 ranked kid in the state at 138 pounds. Of course, we all know my main guy. Coach Anglin's my right-hand man. Coach Blackman's my left-hand man, but we all know Coach Blackman here. So he normally stutters and stammers his way through a few interviews throughout the year, and he hadn't done that yet this year. So I figured we'd bring.
Time for him to own up then.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, if he looks like he's asleep, he's not. It's just the way his eyes.
My
The way his eyes.
go
Just
away
kind
when I
of. He's
smile.
not asleep. For everybody out there, he's actually awake. So these, Luke is the son of legendary coach and mentor and friend of mine, Brent Belcher. So. Things are coming full circle in our program, and
That's amazing.
just really, really, really excited to have Luke here with us today.
Luke, how long you been wrestling? When did you start?
I don't know, since I can remember probably. I mean, I've been wrestling a long time. I've always been around it, so it's been
So
a
it's
long
sort of in
time.
your blood there?
Yeah,
And what weight are you at right now?
138.
138. You're a sophomore.
Yep.
So you're going to grow into a higher weight class, you think, Coach, or is it going to? You gonna
He
keep it there?
actually already grew into a higher
Yeah, I
weight.
already did.
And we actually
transition.
we had to bump him up a way. We had to adjust.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, somebody quarantine was good to somebody, and he 132 was a little bit out of reach once we came back from quarantine. So it's worked
okay.
out. Luke Russell's better. He's kind of one of those guys like a little bit of a weight cut is a good thing, but he cut so much weight last year at 120 pounds that I really felt like this year 132 mentally. Actually, we talk about wrestling being such a mental sport. He's a better version of himself on and off the mat when he's cutting a little less weight. So we decided to flip-flop there, and it was a rough first week.
Yeah.
But now he's worked himself into a second ranking in the state behind one of the best wrestlers that's been through Tennessee in a long time. But Luke set himself up nicely for a state title run this
Luke,
coming weekend.
when you're out there on the mat, you're in the middle of a match, you're in a hold, or somebody's got you in a hold, or you got a hold.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind? I mean, you think about how much time's left in that period, or you listen to the coach, you hear coach yelling instructions, or do you ever talk to the other guy at all? I mean, you ever not trash talk, but
Yeah.
He better not.
No, I don't. I try not to talk to the other guy really. I mean, when I'm out on the mat, I'm just thinking about just getting on it and just keeping on my stuff. Just doing what I can do.
how do you like to start a match out? Do you like to take him down, or do you like to work him?
I mean, a first period score is ideal for me, but because in a lot of my matches, I feel like first score is big for me. So I try and get the first score, but you just gotta weather the storm, keep coming back.
What do you do to maintain your strength throughout the year? Are you weightlifting or run or?
Yeah,
both?
I run in the mornings, and I was running a lot the first semester. I was running a whole lot, so I've not been running as much because I want to stay healthy and everything. But I work out at the Y's in the morning and stuff like that. So I usually do that to stay.
It's a dedicated sport.
We have
No
what
doubt
we
about
call
it.
a sunrise crew.
Yeah.
We come in at 4 mornings a week. We're here at 6 a.m.
Wow.
And prior to the weight bump, Luke and his dad were, and we had a pretty steady group of 4 or 5. And like he said, he's shifted back from the running as much, and because now that he's bumped up, he can get back on the weights, and so. He's not with whereas his dad's my running buddy now versus his dad and Luke, but he's going to the Y, and he's got a nice setup at the house too for him to be able to work out. But Luke's a worker.
You ever wrestle your dad?
Yeah, sometimes.
Who wins?
He's
He's still pretty good. Be honest now. Tell us.
I mean, I don't know. He's still got some tricks. I can say
Yeah.
that. He's still got some
He
tricks.
might be a little older, but yeah, he knows them
The
techniques.
bevel is almost snatched. It's not completely. His hand is on it, but I don't know if he's pulled it back yet or not.
It's getting there, huh?
He's getting there. Luke's a handful. He's hard to wrestle now.
Well, that's good though. That's what you want there. Coach Blackman, you've been helping you out here at Bradley a long time. Give us a recap of your background.
I grew up in our kids club program. Coach Smith wrestled with my brother, so we've been close for a very long time. And I finished second my junior year and won it as a senior. And Coach was a big part of that with me. And that was really your first year
It was my first year.
of coaching.
Which was 10 years ago?
That was 18 years ago.
Yeah.
That was my first year as an assistant.
Oh, okay.
That was his senior year was my first year teaching and coaching.
Oh, okay.
So I was in the corner for his finals that year as an assistant.
So went from here to Oklahoma State with my brother, wrestled there, came back and worked as an assistant coach at Greenback for 2 years, and then took over as head coach up there for a year. Came back, went to Walker Valley for 4 years, Ooltewah for 2.
It was the dark ages. We
Yes.
call that time the dark ages.
I was an assistant at Walker Valley for 4 years, and I took over at Ooltewah as a head coach for 2 years, and then coach and I got to talking and everything, and I came back here and been here for 5 years now. So
Good.
been extremely happy to be back home.
Glad to have you here. What do you teach here at Bradley?
What am I teach right now?
Oh.
Teach.
Econ, government, personal finance, world history are kind of my main areas that I've been teaching right now. So.
Well, we see you around up here a lot. Do you get out there? Which group of wrestlers do you work with?
Really, all of them.
All of them.
I kind of bounce. Like, we've got Coach England kind of gravitates towards our heavy guys. Coach Smith and I kind of bounce through the mix. And then we have Coach Matthews that kind of gravitates towards the middle weights. And then we've got a couple other coaches that kind of funnel down towards our lower weights and everything. But Coach and I have kind of mix ourselves in for the most part.
You get out there and mix it up with them on the mat yourself?
Every once in a
just tell
while.
them how to do it.
Every once in a while, if somebody needs something, needs a partner or something like that. But we got so many coaches that we've got those guys that are in the mix and everything, and then Coach and I, bounce practice off of each other and kind of balance that act. So, if one of us is running practice, then we can get in the mix. But usually we're both just kind of gravitating and trying to just coach, yeah.
Well, it's coaching. Is it hard to get the mental aspect, get the kids to understand the mental aspect? Because it's a one-on-one sport that nobody's going to walk out there and call a timeout and say, hey.
I would say the mental aspect of things is the hardest part of coaching. Technique's easier to fix, but the mental aspect is the part that's probably the hardest part of this sport overall, from a just mental toughness side of things and really just being disciplined, all the way around from weight cuts to, just being disciplined in matches and sticking to game plans and that kind of stuff. And, but I would say the mental aspect is the biggest part.
Well, we're talking to Ben earlier in an interview a while back. We talked about it's not like in a team sport of basketball or football where you can sort of hide, have a weak link. It is you and you only out there under that big bright light. And Luke, I guess the reward is, hey, I had a good match. I won my match, whatever. But it's got to be frustrating, I guess, when you do lose.
Yeah.
So you just have to forget that, move on, because it's state time now. You feel like you got a good shot to win your weight class of state?
Yeah, I think I got a good run at it. I'm hoping I can just make it to the finals, take one match at a time, and just do what I can do best.
How many matches would you have to wrestle if you went from the start of the tournament all the way through?
4.
4. So that fourth match would be a state title match at that point.
Yep.
Will there be a wrestle back in or whatever they call that?
They place top 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Unlike the state duels, which everybody knows from last week's show how I feel about TSSAA and their indecision to let us wrestle back for third, or not anyone in general. But no, they'll wrestle back for 6th. So at this point, it's 2 matches. I mean, if he wins his first 2 matches and makes it to the semifinals, he's guaranteed top 6. He's all state at that point. Wins a semifinals match, he'll have a finals match with more than likely Trey McDaniel from Cleveland, West Point signee, 3-time finalist, 2 times. Trey's a great kid, and he's put it on Luke once, and then we had a great region finals match with him, and he didn't end up majoring us, did he? Did he catch the major?
It was 6-11, I think.
Yeah, we kept it to a minor decision. Scored on him. We closed the gap there, but I mean, Trey's the real deal. He's the Division I signee for Army West Point, and we think the world of him. He's got some Bradley ties, and but Luke's got a big mountain to climb. But at this point, like I said, he was. Luke's probably the toughest kid in the state this year as a sophomore that doesn't have a state medal. He had probably the most difficult weight class in the state last year, and he didn't medal. Fell a little short. So the main objective for us, for him, is get him on that podium. Once he secures that medal that we feel like he deserved and deserves, then we're going to cut him loose.
Okay.
He's got, you know, we can't project the future, but he's got a tough semifinals match with a senior that's got a couple medals around his neck that we've got to win over. We hope to put the screws to him and then wrestle train the finals.
Let me ask you one more question before we wrap things up here. Do you know what the attendance policy will be down at the Trade Center? How many folks they'll let in, or?
I don't know the numbers, but what they're doing is they're allowing 2 tickets per qualifier.
Okay.
And then any ticket that is unpurchased as of 1 o'clock today goes into a general admissions GoFan link. I tell you this, like his wife, my daughter, his daughters, we don't get tickets. We don't get, you know, it's like I said, like they're keeping it pretty tight.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm going to try to log on today at 1:01 and buy my wife a ticket because you know.
And this is being recorded on Friday, by the way, folks. Friday the 19th.
Friday the
So keep that in
19th.
mind.
So that'll be next Friday the 26th.
Will it be? Will there be any link that you know of, like the HFS?
Track Wrestling, which is a subsidiary of NFHS. Anybody in the wrestling world knows Track Wrestling. TrackWrestling.com. If they can buy a 1-day pass to live stream the matches. It's a pretty cool setup, but yeah, that's what most people will be doing.
How many mats will they be using down there at one time? Do you have any idea?
It's a great question, and I don't know. I mean, the fact that it's going to be on a level floor with no risers in a convention center, it's going to have the feel of an off-season national tournament, because that's kind of, in the wrestling world, these bigger national tournaments are held in huge convention centers in bigger metropolitan areas, and there's just 20, 30, 40 mats, and here you go.
Wow.
So it's going to, and Luke's been to tournaments like that, so it's going to be a familiar feel in a sense, but it's going to be different because it's not what we're used to. So,
Well, the good thing is it's in Chattanooga.
100%. 100%.
We
We're
sleep in our
excited.
own beds at night. You know,
We'll
we're
get
going to be there one night.
everybody and their brother hopefully won't be cheering against us like they normally are. So
Yeah.
it'd be fun to feel.
It's over hometown field, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times those small schools, your Hicksons, your Pigeon Forges, like those, like this eastern side of the state, we have really good relationships with them, and even traditionally, like with Cleveland, like because it's Cleveland and Bradley against the world, and I don't care who says that. I mean, like that's the truth.
Yeah.
Even in situations like that, when we're not wrestling each other, we're cheering for each other.
Good.
You know, and for us to have a little bit of a home field advantage, which Middle Tennessee has had for a while. It's going to be
About
nice.
time.
It's going to be nice.
About time. Well, Coach, I want to wish you and Coach Blackman the best of luck in the tournament, and especially Luke. Get that medal, get up on the podium, get as high as you can. I know you'll be trying to do that and make us all proud. You got 2 more years after this year, too.
Yep.
So that's
You'll see him a lot.
yeah, that's good news for you guys.
It's great news.
Until next week, we'll have Coach Ben Smith back again, and we'll have another guest or 2 with us at that time as well. I've been your host, Gary Ownbey, saying so long for now. God bless, and go Bears.